Thanks for joining me today. My name is Sean Egglestone, and I'm a registered dietitian. If you haven't checked out my website yet, it's seantherd.com. I'll put a link in the description below, and there's a whole bunch of other nutrition-related videos on there, as well as recommended resources. Today, we're going to be talking about, can diabetes be cured? That's going to be the question that we are going to look at. So let's jump into this. The definition for curing diabetes is having a normal hemoglobin A1c or normal blood sugar for 3 months or longer without any diabetic medications. So let's define a hemoglobin A1c is a 3-month average of your blood sugars. This is something that they can test if you're in the hospital, or that you can test at your primary care physician's office, and it will give you a percentage. Now, the normal range is 4.5 to 5.6. The pre-diabetic range, so pre-diabetes, is considered 5.7 to 6.4, and then 6.5 or higher is the diabetic range. So having a normal hemoglobin A1c for at least 3 months and not being on any diabetic medication. That is the definition of curing diabetes, or to say you don't have diabetes anymore. So what we're looking at today is it possible to cure your diabetes? And the answer is yes, it is possible to cure diabetes, but it depends. Not everybody can cure their diabetes, but I have personally seen people that no longer have diabetes. They've come in and I have medical records that show that they had an A1c of 13, go down to 10, go down to 5. They've maintained normal blood glucose values for over a year, and they've been off of all medications, including insulin as well as your oral diabetic medications. So no medications, normal blood sugar for an extended period of time. They no longer have diabetes. Unfortunately, this isn't necessarily the case for everyone, and that's multifactorial, and that's really what we're going to talk about today is it possible for you to cure your diabetes? So, a few of the reasons why it might not be possible. Well, the main reason is how burnt out your pancreas is. Your pancreas is an organ located on the right-hand side of your body, and it's responsible for secreting insulin. And insulin is a hormone that helps lower your blood sugars. And so when someone gets diabetes, part of the reason why they have diabetes is their pancreas doesn't function well. And so it really depends on, well, how burnt out, how long has your pancreas not been functioning? Because it's thought that by the time you get diagnosed with diabetes, your pancreas has not been functioning well for its function has been reduced by at least 50%, cut in half. So there's insulin producing cells in the pancreas, and when we follow an unhealthy diet and lifestyle over a long period of time, we damage those cells in the pancreas that produce insulin. And those cells can either go to sleep or they can die. And so the question is, how much of these cells are dead versus asleep? And when we follow a healthy diet, and those cells can waken back up, their function can improve, your body can normalize its insulin secretion as well as its response to insulin, and then your body can naturally lower your blood sugars to a normal range. So it really looks at the health of your pancreas. How damaged is your pancreas? With that being said, there are anecdotal as well as some scientific studies that show that even people that have been on insulin for 20 years can get off of insulin. Now, exercise is also very important because exercise increases our insulin sensitivity. So that'll also play a factor in how well you can manage your blood sugars without diabetic medication. Now, it must be said that when you're doing this, it's important to do this under the supervision of your physician, your doctor, because you don't want to be playing around with your medications. You want to sit down, have a discussion with them, let them know that you're going to change your diet, you're going to change your lifestyle, and you're going to be monitoring your blood sugars, and you want to have an open, ongoing dialogue with them so they can continue to work with your medication doses so that you don't have excessive high values or excessive low blood sugar values. So I have seen people that that don't have diabetes anymore. Again, not everyone can cure your diabetes. It really depends on how damaged your pancreas is. Now, but I will say this. The majority of the reason why people don't get rid of their diabetes is not necessarily because their pancreas is completely shot. It's because it takes a lot of work. In order to get diabetes, it takes decades of poor diet and lifestyle and drinking soda and refined carbohydrates, too much fat, too many calories, lack of exercise. There's so many things that go into why people get diabetes. And a lot of it has to do with the choices that we make with our food every single day. And in order to reverse your diabetes, it's going to take a lot of work to um, to to radically change what you eat, to change the food landscape in your house, what you have in the fridge, what you have in your pantry, where you go out to eat, the kinds of people that you hang out with will also change what kind of diet you follow. And so it's not just changing what you eat, it's changing your definition of like who you are as an individual and how you relate to health and how you relate to yourself and your relationship with yourself. It has to do with family dynamics, social dynamics. So it's really about changing your lifestyle and redefining who you are. You aren't someone, you're not a diabetic. You're someone who suffers from diabetes, and you're going to make the changes that you have to make to become undiabetic. And so it takes a lot of hard work and discipline and consistency. And it's those things that are very, very challenging for everybody. Everyone faces difficulty with those things, and that's I think contributes to a lot of the reason why people remain diabetic for the rest of their life. Now, the good news is that even if you're not able to get off of all your diabetic medications or get off of your insulin, you can absolutely reduce the amount of insulin that you need, or not have to take insulin and just take either metformin or some other oral diabetic medication by improving your diet, reducing your fat intake, and reducing your refined carbohydrate intake. If you want more information on specifically what to eat, what are the best sources of carbs, and the best ways to control your blood sugars, I'll put a link in the description below for the videos that I've made on those topics. And they can also be found on my website, SeanTheRD.com, and you can learn more about what I specifically recommend to eat as a diabetic. However, moving back, there's a lot you can do to reduce the amount of medications that you take for blood sugar control, and you can improve your overall health outcomes. So the best recommendation that I have for everyone is to watch those videos and apply that knowledge to your diet every day and be consistent and disciplined about it. Create a culture, an environment around yourself that will promote health, and promote healing, promote better blood sugar control, and then you can really test, really see, how healthy can I get, how well can I control my blood sugars, and that's really the only way to determine or to find out, can you have good, safe glycemic control without insulin or without diabetic medications at all? But of course, again, always work with your physician. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any other questions, you can post them in the comments section down below. Feel free to subscribe to these videos. I put them out sometimes frequently, sometimes not, but I always try and put out quality content. And I also have the best content and contact me section on my page, on my website, that you can send me questions or suggestions for additional videos. Thanks for watching. Cheers.